Ozzie Pardilla, MSTU 4141, Final Project, Social Media and Language Learning. Learning a foreign language can be challenging. Achieving mastery, let alone fluency of a new language, takes many hours of dedicated practice, discipline, and of course motivation. So what's the problem? Today's traditional classroom language instruction is teacher-centered, front of the classroom instruction. Students are passive participants of their learning, and as a result, they spend very little time practicing conversationally speaking or writing authentically. As passive participants, students may be bored, less engaged, and be less motivated to learn a foreign language. So what's the solution? With its ability to create an independent, student-directed, and collaborative learning environment, social media can help supplement traditional classroom language instruction by creating engaging spaces where students can practice authentic language learning skills outside of the classroom. The target audience for this presentation is grades 6 through 8. The main learning objective for this project is to help create a mindset that true language fluency is attainable through the supplemental use of social media tools. Students will develop the attitude that attaining fluency is possible, which requires that students engage in the learning by 1, being able to contextualize what using social media means in terms of language development, 2, that the students are interested in interacting with other students outside of the class in social media spaces. With these outcomes and targets in mind, we will now focus on the design that will help achieve these goals. The first target students need to achieve is to be able to contextualize what using social media means in terms of their language development. To achieve this target, students will be asked to use Google to research 5 reasons why learning a second language is important. Some questions they will also answer. What type of benefits does learning a second language provide? What kind of career opportunities are available to someone who is bilingual? What famous people speak more than one language? Students will be assigned to small groups using a Padlet. Students will build a wall that display their findings. The walls will be discussed in a class. Why this activity? In order to contextualize what language learning means, students should understand why learning a second language is important. Students often see a second language as just another subject to study. By helping students contextualize and see why language learning is beneficial to their education, students might be more likely to personalize their learning goals. Additionally, working as a group will help build collaboration skills. The learning activity this is based on is social constructivism. To assess learning, students will display their work in class, which needs to provide answers to the questions given, as well as provide the resources that demonstrate the importance of learning a second language. Students will have achieved the learning target if they're able to demonstrate an understanding of the importance of second language learning for future learning. The second learning target is to get language learners interested in interacting with other students outside of class in a social media space using only Spanish. For this activity, students will install HelloTalk onto their devices. Students will partner with native language speakers. Students will be given 10 vocabulary words each week and must use them in conversations or sentences with their partners. Students will share about their interactions with the rest of the class each week by logging into their account and displaying their conversation history with the class. Why this activity? By using HelloTalk, students will be connected with individual native speaking partners and will be able to practice using their target language, in our case, Spanish, in an authentic way by chatting, making voice-recorded messages, while also being able to self-correct through built-in tools. The learning theory this activity is based upon is conversation theory. In order to assess student learning, students' conversations and recordings on HelloTalk will be assessed for frequency as well as quality interaction, correct pronunciation, vocabulary, and proper grammar and sentence usage in class. Students will have achieved this learning target if the interaction with native speakers shows an increase in their motivation and conversation skills each week. And finally, learning target number 3. Students will develop the attitude that attaining fluency is possible. To achieve this target, every student will create a personal blog using Canvas. At the end of each week, students will be required to write in their blog and detail what they've discovered, what was challenging, what they enjoyed, and what they would like to do as an activity to personally challenge themselves in the quest for language fluency. Students will also be asked to set goals for themselves for the upcoming week. Students will read each other's blogs and comment. Why this activity? Goal setting each week will demonstrate and motivate students to achieve certain benchmarks for themselves. Blogging is a popular social activity that can show how a student is developing while helping build confidence. Commenting from peers can also help build self-esteem. The social theory that this activity is based on is social learning theory. In order to assess student learning, students will keep an active blog throughout the year that is shared with everyone. The blog will be assessed to see if the student is actively writing and updating their blog, as well as commenting on other students' blogs. The learning target will have been achieved if students are setting goals for themselves and meeting these goals, which demonstrate a positive manner for language learning. This design does have some strengths and weaknesses. The strengths. This design may encourage collaboration. The familiarity of the technology proposed may also prove to be an exciting alternative to textbooks and other traditional methods of instruction, and may also encourage motivation and deeper thinking. Some weaknesses in the design. There's no guarantee this design will encourage learning interactions between students. It's difficult to gauge a student's motivation or level of interest, since most of the activities are on a student's personal time away from class. As with any internet interaction, the opportunity for distraction is there. Students may surf instead of work without supervision. Students may also have a difficult time wanting to use social media for educational purposes. Thank you. This project differed greatly from my midterm project. And what I've discovered is that with the midterm project, I was thinking technology first. I wasn't really considering the learning theories or how to assess what I wanted the students to accomplish. Rather, I first went to the technology and tried to build my instructional plan around the technology. Once we were able to learn about learning targets, objectives, and assessments, I stepped away from the technology, and that totally opened up a whole new world for me with respect to being able to see the instructional design, seeing how it would flow, and then seeing what technology was available for me to use to make the objectives and the targets work. So that was a tremendous learning experience, and one that was very enjoyable. And I'm really glad we were able to go through that as a class before the final. Thank you.